Hey everyone, welcome back, and let's write some more Leetcode today. So today let's solve the problem longest nice subarray. And I would say this is a pretty nice problem. We get a chance to go back to some of the basics, but probably the most important thing with problems like these is making the most correct observations in order to figure out what those basics actually are. When I say basics, I mostly just mean like which pattern does this problem fall into. Once you know the pattern, then it's kind of just about filling in the little holes of how this problem, or rather how this pattern can be used to solve the problem. And to fill in those like little holes, you kind of have to make those observations and really focus on the problem. So with that out of the way, imagine we're given an array of integers like this. And we care about the binary representation of each of these numbers. So just to make that easy for us so we don't make mistakes, I've kind of made a table for each number down here. And I think this really makes it easy. If you were given a problem like this one and you had no idea how to solve it, you have no idea what observations to make, at the very least, you could make it a little bit easier on yourself and just draw out the binary representations of a few integers and then use that to see if there's anything we can notice about the problem. But anyways, let's first read the problem, which is we're given these integers. We want to find the longest nice subarray that we can. And that's going to be a contiguous subarray. We want to return the length of it once we have determined what that nice subarray is, the longest one. And we're going to do this by being given some positive integers. A nice subarray is going to be defined as one. This is an example of a nice subarray, 3 and 8, because when you take 3 and you bitwise AND it with the number 8, take a look at the binary representation of those numbers over here. We see we have a couple ones with 3, and we have a single one over here with 8. When we bitwise AND these, that's one of the major operations about this problem, but there's a couple other bit manipulation operations we're going to need as well. And I'll show you those in just a sec. But for 3 and 8, when you bitwise AND, you check if both of the bits are set in that position. And clearly, we see that both of the bits for any of these integers are not going to be set. Meaning, in this case, I guess the word that I'm going to use for these two numbers is to say that they are non-overlapping. They do not overlap. The binary representation of these numbers does not overlap. And that gets to what this problem is really asking for. It's saying that a nice subarray is one that's defined just like this one, where when you AND every element together, the result should be a big fat 0. And now that you know what a non-overlapping or a nice subarray is in this case, let's look at the opposite, one that is not very nice, and that would be this one, where we have 1 and 3. This is definitely not a nice subarray because when you bitwise AND these two together, you see that these two bits are different, but these two bits are the same. If you take 1 and AND it with 3, the result you're going to get is actually 1. In binary, it would look like this, 0, 0, 1, because that was a spot where both bits were set. Thus, the bit is going to be set in the output because of that. So again, in a more simple way, we could really just say we're looking for numbers that are non-overlapping in a sense. That's how I think of it to simplify this problem, because that long description of making sure the bitwise ANDs result in a subarray of 0 is a bit less straightforward and a bit less like human understandable. So I'm just trying to make it easy for myself. Now that we have that, now that we kind of know the trick behind this, like that was the key observation in this case, how do we go about solving a problem like this one? Well, the brute force would be a roughly n-squared solution where we look at every single subarray and just check if the bitwise AND of that subarray is equal to 0. And as long as it's true, we are good. But if it's not, then it's not going to work anymore. Like if we got to this point, for example, we realize that this is not a good subarray. Well, we can't really continue any further. I guess we could if we wanted to, but if this is not a good subarray, like if these two overlap, well, adding more elements isn't going to change that. These two guys still overlap. So what we would do in that case is, well, just start at the next element over here. Let me find the longest subarray I can from here. And then I would go to this element. Okay, I get that. And so far, so good. I look at the next element. I get that. And I think so far, so good. And then we keep going. And I think the next element will not allow us to maintain the non-overlapping property. It looks like this one does overlap over here. So then we would stop, and once again, we would start over. We would start at the next element, and from here, what's the longest subarray I can get? Okay, here I got this, and now I got 48. These are not overlapping, and then I get the 10. It looks like the 10 is overlapping with the 8, so again, I would stop. Now that's the brute force. I went through it a little bit longer than I do most times because I want the observation to at least make sense to you. Like, I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. I think this problem makes it pretty obvious what the pattern is. The pattern is clearly a sliding window. Why should we have to start all over again? Why should I have to, if I started from 3 and I went all the way here and I say, okay, this is no good, and then I want to start at 8, why should I have to recreate this subarray over here when instead, when I'm over here, I can instead remove this guy, aka just slide my window. So that's the idea. I'll do a brief dry run right now, but I also want to mention that if you're new to this pattern, it's not trivial. You can't expect to watch like a 5-minute video and then just completely understand this pattern and understand how to solve difficult problems using this pattern. It's not that easy. I highly, highly recommend, if you're a beginner, to consider at least checking out Leetcode.io. It's intentionally designed just for people like you, so that once you kind of learn the patterns, I think the sliding window pattern is in this course, but once you learn the patterns, it gets a lot easier. And there's plenty of resources you can use to do that. If you want to use Leetcode.io, that's great. You could also use other resources as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and do a pretty basic dry run. What I usually do is initialize my 2 pointers at the first element. The main thing we're going to track here is the current bits that are set. So this cur is going to be a number, and it's going to be the binary representation of the bits that are currently set. So initially we can just say 0 because none of the bits are set. Then as the algorithm goes, the right pointer is going to be the one that iterates at each step. At each step, we're going to take this and increment it by 1 and move it to the next element. We're going to increase our window. So we look at the first element. We want to know, does this overlap with any other element in the current window? To figure that out, all we have to do is take our current window, like this should be the current window, and AND it with this, which is 1, and if this is non-zero, if this does not equal 0, that means that the window is invalid. But right now it equals 0 because we have 0 ANDed with 1, and the result of that is going to be 0. They're not both 1. So far so good. I mean, if you AND anything with 0, you wouldn't expect to get a non-zero result. So current ANDed with 1 is 0. So we are good. So what we do is say, okay, this window is valid. It's a window of length 1, and thus we can go ahead and just keep the left pointer here and increment our right pointer. I'll just scribble that out and move it over here now. Notice that our current is still 0, but we don't want it to be 0 at this point. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. This is where we actually don't use the bitwise AND operator to update our current window, because as you can see, if we start with 0, then we can't ever set any of the bits in here. I mean, we can't do that with an AND operation. But there's another operation that we can do, a bitwise, it's not exclusive OR, it's actually just bitwise OR to set a bit. So it's pretty much that simple. If you don't know what OR is, it's kind of the opposite. So if we had like 0, 0 and 0, 1, something like that, we only need a single bit to be set in a column to get a 1 in the output. And if nothing is set, then we still get a 0. So basically, like any bits that are set in this number will be moved here. And they definitely shouldn't be overlapping, so that doesn't really matter. So we can assume that we'll have a way to update cur. So now cur will be 1. And next, our right pointer is clearly at 3. So once again, we will take cur, which is 1 right now, and do 1 ANDed with 3. And we definitely will see some overlap. It is not going to be 0. That's bad. So what do? Things get interesting here. Now is the part where it's invalid, so we will shrink our window. We're going to make it smaller by shifting the left element. So what we're going to do is, while this is the case, while take 3 and AND it with cur, not just 1, but cur, we are going to shift the left pointer. So we can easily shift the left pointer. That's the easy part. Just move it over here. But there's something you want to do before you shift the left pointer, because now our window is just 3. before we shift the left pointer, we want to unset this element. So now the question is, how do you unset a bit? Well, let's think about this for a second. I'll try to briefly explain it. So imagine over here, you have a number. Let's say our cur looks something like this. I have cur, and I'm just going to draw some random digits here. This is my cur. I have a new element. The current number that I'm looking at index I, maybe it looks like this. It's 0, 0, 0, and then it ends with a 1, 0. Or something like this, where this is clearly overlapping. So this is the new number, and this was our previous cur. So we can see there is some overlap, and we want to now take the leftmost element that was in our window and remove it. So essentially what we're saying here is we want to make room for this bit, which is overlapping with this one. So what our algorithm is going to do is just keep shifting the left pointer until this bit is available. Now, if I had a number, let's say my leftmost number at my left pointer looked like this. It was the exact one that we want to remove. It's just a 1, so it removes this bit. So how do we do that removal? Well, it's actually just the XOR operator, exclusive OR. We used OR to actually set the bits, but exclusive OR is useful for unsetting bits, and the reason for that is this. Right now, we have this number down here that I drew in red. We only want to unset this bit over here. We don't want to affect any of these. So you might say that, well, can't we just use an AND operator and between these two, or do some kind of inverse AND? Maybe there is like a way that you could make that work, but XOR is just a lot better because exclusive OR means that if I do an exclusive OR with this and this element, then I'm just going to look at every number, and if they're different, I'm going to put a 1 in the output. If they're the same, then I get a 0 in the output. So you can see how like everything here that's a 0 means that we're just going to copy all of the bits that are over here. Zeros will not change anything. Basically, the property is this. If you take x, some number, let's call it n, I guess, n, and XOR it with a 0, the result is always going to be 0. That's an XOR property. So that's the reason why we do XOR. And also, I want to make it clear from this picture why we are going to shift the left pointer before we take the rightmost element that we just saw and add it here. Because you can see what I had initially, this is my cur. This is the new element I'm trying to add, but it overlaps with our current window. So what I want to do before I AND this here, before I set the bits here rather, I want to make sure I unset the bits first. If I set the bits and I put a 1 here and a 1 here, then I'm going to do the unsetting here, and I'm going to end up with a 0 over here. That's not what I want. So that's another key thing about this problem, and I think that's pretty much it. Once you know that, you can pretty efficiently solve this problem. So right now, our window is here. We haven't yet added the 3 to cur, but we recognize that cur and the current element 3, let's use a different color, cur and 3 is not equal to 0. So we will take the left element, this one, and XOR it with cur, which will bring us back down to 0, I think. And then we will see that, okay, now we can take this element and add it to the window because now they are non-overlapping and our window will become this. Then we will start expanding the window. We'll get 8, we'll get 48, and so far we'll be good. We'll try to add 10, it won't work. Then we'll start shrinking the window, so we'll get rid of 3. And then this is what our window will be. You can see that there is still some overlapping here, so we will have to get rid of the 8. Then we will have these two elements remaining. They do not overlap, so this is our final window, and then we would be done. This is a linear time solution, constant space. Let's code it up. Okay, so let's just initialize the variables first. I'm going to have my result, which is going to track the length of the longest nice subarray. We'll return that. And then I'm going to have my left pointer, which I will set to 0. And then I'll have my right pointer going through the loop, going through every position in the array. And of course, we will have our current window, I guess you could call it, but probably the more appropriate and common name for this is the bit mask, basically like an integer where each bit is going to represent something. You might be tempted to do something like this, cur ANDed with the current number, but remember, before you do this, we have to check if the window is valid. We have to do the other thing before we do that. And actually, we're never going to be doing current and that. That's not going to update cur the way we want to. We're going to be doing or instead. But anyways, we're going to check while this number is non-zero. While this is non-zero, what we want to do is, of course, update the left pointer, increment that. But before you do that, very important, update your current number, unset the bits that are set by the number at the left pointer by doing this. After you're done with that, we can pretty much safely assume that our window is 0. And at that point, we can potentially update our result like this. Result is equal to the max of the current length and the length of the current window, which is right minus left plus 1. And after, don't forget to actually set the bits with the current number now, because now we know for sure that cur ANDed with this number is in fact 0. By executing this loop, we did that. So to set the bits, it's pretty easy. You could do this cur or with the number at index r. So or is used to set bits generally. And just to quickly run this now, you can see here it works. It's very efficient, but there's one thing I wanted to briefly mention. Remember how this loop was used to determine that current and this number are not overlapping. So if that's the case, the reason we used or was because we just wanted to make sure every bit in here is going to be set here, whether the bits are set here or not. But this loop basically guaranteed to us that these two are not going to be overlapping anyway. Like the first number could look something like this. The next number is going to look like this. It has to be non-overlapping with the other one. So it's actually fine here to use exclusive OR as well, because you can see then we're basically setting the bits. All of them are going to be 1 in this example. So, I mean, that doesn't really matter, but in case you were wondering, like, why can't we use XOR here? I think that's a very fair observation to make. And if you made that observation, that kind of proves that you were really, really paying attention to the things that I was talking about here. Anyways, thanks for watching. Check out Leetcode.io for a lot more, and I'll see you soon.